When we were asked to have our turn this month, we went, okay, we have to think about our school here. We're going to stop and we're going to do some reflecting. Our school, the framework that is around our work, our school achievement, are these three words. And it started with after our first year as our staff put things together. Relationships, relevance, and rigor. Now, we got pretty excited about our work, didn't we, Marty?
We absolutely did.
And we had, well, we timed our presentation yesterday, it was 4 hours. Then Peggy sent a note 3 times. Remember, 15 minutes. I went, what is she thinking?
So we cut it in half.
And there is excitement in that work, and we've had fun, and personally, it has been a wonderful 4 years. I was talking to some people at the foundation, Ruby and Dave and some of the other board members and other people that over the years, and I said, wow, this has just been the best part of my career. And it's been a great school to work in, and the staff and the students and the parents every day. It's a positive energy. So we will try to be quick because Nancy's looking at us. And so and collaboration is the umbrella of our work. So Marty and I, when we work together, we share this. And we never know what we're going to say exactly.
Not quite exactly.
But we have so many ideas. Okay, so number one, building those strong relationships with students. And as you know, and middle school students, they come in, it is about relationships. They are discovering friendships, the boys are discovering girls, girls are discovering boys, and we have that part of it, that part of that drama. And, but really, those relationships with the adults are extremely important to our kids, those personal connections. So the relationships, that's our foundation.
And the work that the kids do every day, it needs to be relevant to them. We hear things all the time that, kids have short attention spans, and that's quite simply not true. We can watch kids be absolutely committed to, whether it's a video game or, anything that they're committed to, they will stick with it. So what we really push is every single lesson needs to be somewhat relevant to them. The more relevant to a student, the longer they're going to stick with it. So we really push the relevance. And the rigorous one, I was at that foundation today. There were 3 Teachers of the Year, and the comments the kids kept echoing was, they make us work hard. And I thought, there's rigor. Kids don't want an easy run through this system. They want to work hard. And when they do work hard, they get that rigor. That's what they appreciate.
Right. You want that thinking and creating and applying to what they know. You're probably wondering what that's all about. And we have a worry. We worry about some of our students that fall through the cracks. And we're going to feature this tonight. There are so many things we could talk about at Twin Falls Middle School, but one of our goals has been, how do we make sure students are not falling through the cracks? There's a lot of stress for a number of students. School the underachievers, they can get kind of bored, overwhelmed, maybe there's not some readiness levels there, and they can go through the cracks. And as a school, we really made a commitment. We want to make sure this does not happen. What do we do? All students are important. So that has become one of our initiatives. And in that initiative, we've put it under that word enrichment. This year, the first 30 minutes of the day, every staff member in our school, and I mean everyone, paraeducators, counselors, every teacher, principals, every one of us has a group of children that we work with the first 30 minutes of the day. And why do we do that? Well, we want to make that relationship, that personal connection, and we want to support the student where they need support. And we're going to share a little bit about what that looks like. A little background why we got there, Marty.
Yeah, so how this started was, it was a group of 8th grade teachers that sort of had this chunk of time. They wanted to do something meaningful with it, and it just happened to fall just, I think it was either before lunch or just after lunch, and there was this awkward little 25-minute block of time. And they said, let's do something with that. Let's make something kind of really meaningful to these kids. So they came up with this enrichment idea where each teacher would get to choose something that they had a huge passion in and share that with kids. And it was everything from, the science teachers were all sort of fired up about STEM. Hey, let's offer some STEM thing. The language arts teachers, there was a Shakespeare program offered. There was a writing program offered. There was a reading program. So these teachers sort of got it going. That happened in the first year. The next year, 7th grade kind of got wind of this and said, hey, we want to try something like that. And then 6th grade got wind of it. Hey, let's try that as well. So it sort of started at this grassroots thing and just blossomed from there. One of the things that came about is, let's offer it all at the same time. And there's little bits of magic to that. For example, my enrichment group, I have both 7th graders and 8th graders in my enrichment group. So we can do some neat things because it's offered at the same time.
So what we're going to share with you, we have our students, our video team, took a video of our enrichment time. And it's a great video. It's a little long. So we had to cut it down. So with some new equipment and older software or whatever, we didn't quite get a match. But we are going to share a little bit. We couldn't get all the footage we wanted, but we've got some of it that we'd like to share with you from our teachers and a little bit of the kids.
And this is all student-driven.
Student-driven.
So this is one of their enrichments. Jeff, you want to? Okay, Jeff, I think we're ready to go.
I teach public speaking to our 8th grade students during enrichment time, and we chose public speaking as a class for our 8th grade enrichment because it is a skill, a lifelong skill that our students need to have, not just here in middle school, but they're required to have it in high school, and it's a basic ability that we feel that all people should have as they go on through life. It's relevant in all capacities of life. It's pretty neat to see how students grow throughout this trimester. Because enrichment is a pass-fail class, it's very non-threatening, and students are just encouraged to do their best. And they rise to the occasion, and that is extremely rewarding as a teacher, and you can see that it's rewarding to them in their intrinsic motivation to learn also. That they're transferring these skills into their other classes and speaking with confidence, and they have confidence speaking up to their peers. I had a student write me a letter at the end of last trimester saying that his ability to confront somebody who was harassing him, he used the skills that he learned in public speaking to stay calm, organize his thoughts, and speak up to that person, which was pretty neat to see that this transfers not only into other classes, but into their personal lives also. And it's also great to see how they support each other in class. And it's not just relationship building for me, but with the students to build relationships with their peers and to encourage each other as they go through.
Inferences. We're going to analyze characters, and the way we analyze characters is what? How do we create an inference? Hold on a minute. So an inference. How does this happen? Okay, tell me. And that's going to give us this, our inference. Okay. So what we're going to do today is we're going to read this passage and we're going to highlight any text clues that we can combine with our background knowledge to infer information about character and understand.
Hi, this is Dave Patine. I've been asked by a couple of students to give a quick interview about the enrichment classes that I teach, or enrichment class that I teach here at Snoqualmie Middle School. I currently co-teach a math enrichment class with my peer, Carol Phelps. And this is a program we put together a couple of years ago. We use a software package called I Can Learn, and what it does is allow students to kind of move at their own pace through the different math objectives that we've identified as important for the kids to understand. I chose this because it's a direct link to the math class that I currently teach here at Twin Falls as a math teacher, and We use our I Can Learn enrichment program in math to help students become more proficient at those skills that they're ultimately going to use in the actual math class that I teach. What students gain from this class is obviously a better understanding of the foundations of math, everything from understanding how fractions work and the simple math that they need for the more complex math later on in the algebra and pre-algebra classes. I believe this fits into our school mission of relevance, rigor, and relationship because of a couple of reasons. One is they can start seeing the links between what skills we're learning in the enrichment class and how it actually applies to the math class itself. And then that helps us build a better understanding of how math in and of itself relates to everyday life. And that's the ultimate goal that we have here, is not just can I do the math, but how does the math relate to something that I'm ultimately going to need somewhere in my life. Thanks.
All right, as I said, this is entirely student-driven, and those students work incredibly hard. They had a little glitch here in the middle. And up until kind of the last minute today, they're like, oh, let's keep working on it, let's keep working on it. We never quite got there. So we're going to skip a little bit here and finish it up with another teacher. Okay, Jeff, I think we're good.
Hi, I'm Janet Munson, and I teach the reading enrichment in 8th grade. I chose reading enrichment because I have a passion for reading myself. I'm a language arts teacher, and I've got a lot of skills in reading comprehension and strategies. I believe that enrichment fits into the school absolutely. It's so valuable. The number one thing that my reading enrichment has is time. The students who struggle with reading don't enjoy reading, and they have found amazing strategies to just sit in the classroom and be quietly confused while the education goes on around them. In my enrichment class, we have the gift of time. We have all the time that we need, and we can read and explore together whatever is standing in the way for each individual student. When we find that there is a particular question or confusion, we can take it right there. For example, my students had wonderful comprehension, but they did not understand the difference between a main idea that was direct or a main idea that was implied. And giving them that tool was the difference between success and failure in a standardized exam. So I think enrichment is extremely valuable, and I feel honored to be able to help our students.
Our students, they do storyboards. They were very into this. I mean, it was over an hour. They were very proud. They kept talking to kids and teachers, and it was great. I happened to be in Judy Beale's taught by her class, which didn't get on here, but it was a very lively discussion. It would have been fun for us to listen to that. She does a class on global issues and talk about rigorous thinking. She really gets it up there into today's world, and they have to be able to come up with rationale and evidence and put it together in their dialogue with each other. And your kids were working on healthcare issues and senior citizens.
Balancing the budget.
Balancing the budget.
And what's
And I said, our school board should be here in this classroom. There was great problem solvers in there. Those were real issues. And she is guiding it from the side. And my goodness, I think you had some solutions right out of that classroom. And sometimes I maybe encourage you to visit classrooms and some of these problems that we have. It's amazing what kids do think about. They know this, and they come up with very creative solutions. So, fun to visit. Results. Are we getting some results? This is, I think, we have
You want to read some of the student responses?
Yeah, you want to read some of those?
So, is it working? Is enrichment really working? Or is this just kind of one of those things? So we actually surveyed a number of kids. This is out of one class. And in this packet, actually, if you want to pass that around, in this packet, there's a copy of this, but this is from one class. I really like the challenge, says one student. The day-to-day ones, it really makes us think. That's what we're after with our students. I like this comment. I wouldn't change anything about the class, except I don't want to leave. Make enrichments on Fridays too, because Friday's a short day. We don't have enrichment. The kids are saying, I want it on that day as well. If I could change one thing about this class, I would simply make it longer. Okay? So the kids are getting just, they love it. They love it. It's a good program.
Part of our enrichment are extended learning opportunities, and you have a brochure on all of our enrichment classes. And then the other ones are intervention classes. And our teachers are collecting a lot of data from the kids and getting feedback from them. This is a couple from a class, about 12 students, and they're really trying to keep that gap in math. And that's a little different approach with the students in 6th grade. Do you feel that being this math enrichment class has helped you in your core math class? Yes, because we do certain things in our core classes that we do in here. If you give them a choice, would you stay in the class or switch to another? I would totally stay in here because this helps me with my core math class. And then, of course, we always have somebody that's going to figure out a different way to do it. And so this is another same question about how has it helped you? Yes, when I go to math, I'm not lost in what my teacher is explaining, and I get my work finished in class. If given a choice, would you stay in this class or switch to another? Well, I would want to come in here, but I would also like to try another class. Like, I would come in here twice a week, and then also go to science the other 2 days. See, they're always ready to help us out here. And I think Sean, she works with reading, and I know you just took a little survey with your kids. And most of these kids come into some of our intervention ones, they're kind of going, why am I in here, and I don't know about this.
Yeah, the relationship takes a while because they want to know, why am I here? Why are 7 boys sitting in a room with Mrs. Lawrence? And they say, we can read. And so we spend a lot of time in the beginning saying, well, do you read? No. No. But we kind of come together, our relationships have developed. I have one boy who in 7th grade read the first 2 novels he's ever read, cover to cover. And another boy who, in the survey that I gave in my class, said, well, I still don't like to read, but I think I'm better at it. So I think, 2 ends of the spectrum, but success stories on both ends.
And so those are, we collect the data from the kids and their comments, and that helps us shape what we're doing. Again, we use a software program. Again, students are in there at their pace with help from side to side by their teacher. And this is 7th grade. Yeah, we have a 6th, 7th, 8th grade math enrichment in the computer lab. That's about 90 students that are involved in getting that support. And then we have about 15 students in 6th grade. We're doing a little different approach, just side by side with the teacher was getting more practice with some of those basic skills. We're just pioneering is right. We're just starting into this STEM thinking. A number of our teachers went to a workshop for 2 days just a month ago, and just getting kids project-based, getting them to solve problems, and there's a lot of energy, lots of energy around this. And this happens to be my class, and and this is Shelley. She partners with Friends of Youth. She helps in our school. And she works once a week with my group on distress and how to have some positive coping strategies. And the students I have were what I would call the underachievers. They weren't too sure about school, and we had to work on some of those habits. And I didn't let them even do their homework in this class. I said, well, we'll get there one of these days when you're ready. So after about a month, they said, when do we get to do work in here? I said, we've got some readiness coming. And here's one of the boys. He says, what are productive habits do learners do learners in school do? Or what are they? Well, don't do it when they do their work when they get home. Always do your work on time and do it completely. Pay attention. Talk to teachers about your work. Which ones do you apply in school? I talk to my teachers about my work. And they had some improvements. What was their attitude? What did they notice about their attitude? I was sarcastic, but now I am self-controlled. And relationships. That, some of my relationships are getting worse because I'm spending so much time with these adults. But Classroom assignments are improving, grade results are improving, and grades and work. And these students, a number of them have made improvements, and we just went through that today. And even moving up from, these were kind of a lot of Fs, 26%. That's pretty low. And they're at Cs or above, and just, so they're getting engaged, they're seeing their relevance, and we've hooked it all into the world of work. That was the connection. What does work mean? Small reading groups, we have 8 small reading groups with 6 in it with an adult. So I'm going to give you a folder. This is our RTI. That's the intervention, a response to intervention. We've had other school districts come and observe and sit with us. We have worked pretty hard the last 4 years to not just sit around. It's pretty easy for us all to sit around the table and figure out who's struggling. That one's easy. The hard part is, what do we do differently? That's the hard part. And I feel really, and I know Marty does, and many of our teachers, they're going, wow, how did we stumble across this? Because kids are improving. It is the relationships, it's a small group, it's skill specific. So catching and safety netting those kids. Do we have them all? No. But we have, we're excited about the number that we're getting that are engaged and wanting to be learners in school.
Yeah. So again, how do we know it's working? Well, 2 years now we've received this Washington Achievement Award, and that's based off improvement. And as you know, it's easy to win an improvement award once. The second time is a whole lot more difficult. So, I'm going to talk about that one a little bit. We're gonna, yeah, this idea that this enrichment carries on into their other classes, and that's the bang for the buck that we're after. And we get that from the kids, we get that from the teachers. The teachers report back, wow, these kids just seem to be doing a lot better in my core class. Why is that? Because we're making those connections in the enrichment class.
And even in here, we have our musicians. We have 8th graders, musicians. Of course, we have an amazing band program at Twin Falls Middle School, and our 8th graders, they teach the 6th graders. Of course, they're becoming very proficient during that time. They're mentoring them. And so you see lots of 8th graders connections, 6th grade. That's a little bit of a time where we can cross-grade our students also. And we even have PE enrichment. This is yoga in the morning, and stretching and nutrition. And so keep them balanced. Keep them balanced. Another feature that we have been working really hard the last couple of years for the math, and how do we get that rigor, the right rigor for our students, as we've heard today, and I know that's been an initiative in our school district about math and having our kids really prepared for minimally algebra in high school to higher level math. And this fall, our math teachers, again, grassroots, put together a math night for parents. And I had some of my parents were there, and we had about 100 and some parents that were pretty interested in math. And they had some in-service time and instruction time, and kind of ease some anxiety even on how to prepare kids for math. And we've set up some math pathways that we are continually trying to improve as we look at the readiness of students to meet those targets, those rigorous targets, and address those. We have to fill in some background and to get to those high targets. This is this year's pathway that we had that we shared with parents, and as you can see, we have about 200 students at every grade level, and we wanted our students to really do algebra, know algebra really well. And so our teachers have worked with kind of splitting things over a half year and go in depth. And they come out, they did really well on the EOC in algebra, which taught us that, we could maybe even push our kids a little bit. We get more kids involved in algebra. So we have stepped it up. We have, I think, about almost 40 more students that are going to be taking that EOC this year. And maybe not all of them are going to pass, but they're in algebra. We've decided to they've got a lot of potential. They're farther along than the last year kids with this particular group, so we're going to go ahead and give them a shot at it.
Just to comment on that, because I had to have a 5th grade teacher when he came to school and explained this, and she's now a 6th grade teacher. This was incredibly powerful. I mean, it was super clear what the expectation was, super clear what needed to be done, and it really felt like, now I get it, now I understand how things are supposed to work out and can help your kid, and it's super powerful. I commend you on this. It's excellent.
And it's just, we have 8 math teachers, 9, boy, they put their heads together, and it's amazing what they come up with, and we know we need that partnership with parents, safety netting those kids, building in those backgrounds, and then get that momentum going for them. This is our plan for next year that we are working with, of course, Don has been working with us too on just our math pathways. And since we have the greatest number of kids, and we also have the greatest number of math teachers, we can kind of jump in and move that bar a bit quicker because we have more sections of math. And so what we are going to be, in all of our 6th grades, and I think in our whole district, this is going to be our big initiative. We are going to do pre-algebra next year for those really top-level kids that are really ready for it. And we have a number of course, assessments that we are going to we are putting in place that can capture this. And this is a transition plan for next year. We're going to be field testing the readiness of kids. How much background do we have to put in? If it's a strong aptitude math student and they can do it, we're going to have to give some background, but they should pick it up pretty quick. But we'll have to take the time to put it in and then just see the levels that they get to. So that's our goal, is to increase the number of middle school students taking algebra at 8th grade and increase the number of students taking geometry in 8th grade. So that is the ultimate goal, which I feel like we're getting at. All right.
Just some
events here.
Upcoming events, so I'll run through them pretty quickly. 6th, 7th, and 8th, all students at Twin Falls are going to be involved in the first science fair. We're hoping that it's going to become an annual thing. And again, kids are jazzed up about this. You would not believe how excited they are. Again, more STEM things. We have 124 Twin Falls students going to the University of Washington's Engineering Discovery Day. So kids are saying, hey, this is what I'm interested in. I think our first year we started there was
24.
I think, yeah.
24 students 3 years ago. Now we have 3 buses.
Yeah. At one point, Ruth and Ollie sitting in the building by herself, so all the kids are going to the University of Washington. We also have our Distinctive Honors Evening. This is quite a popular event with parents and with kids. Our drama production on May 17th, 18th, and 19th is phenomenal. Again, started last year and just jumped in both feet. And of course, as Ruth mentioned earlier, we have an amazing music program at Twin Falls. June 1st is the music showcase.
Okay. Our collaboration, our PLC project, number 1, we are this year, the last 2 years, been talking about engagement. What does that look like? What does it sound like? What are those instructional habits we can put in place to get kids engaged? And this is a study that we have been working on this year in our each of our teams. And another one of our projects is, as we looked at intervention, how to decrease chronic attendance. We still have some kids that are just not here enough. And so we've got some plans in how to really address this with more intentionality. And looking at another project and challenge is looking at our grading practices that best represent learning versus earning. You know, what's that learned grade represent? And that's our study also in conversation. And then revisiting parent-teacher conference time, we are wanting to do some more specific scheduling with some parents and students and how to get our students participating. That's our brainstorming and planning on how we can do that with a little bit more invitational and a stronger participation. We'd like to see more of our parents and students. This is an example. See, this collaboration. I happened to be running by 7th grade, and I happened to look in their team room because we have a team room for everybody. And I'm looking, and I went backwards. They were all reading their book, The Highly Engaged Classroom. And they were all, and I happened to listen to them, and they were into such a dialogue, and were coming up with examples. I had to take a video of them, and I even captured it. And that's evidence of that team collaboration time. They were doing this and trying to tie it back into their classroom and how they can do some things differently with kids. And you would see this in our 6th grade, 8th grade. Come and visit, come during their team time, and you will enjoy an interesting dialogue. And this is, again, collaboration time that we do interdisciplinary. That's the collaboration team time we have every day. They hit those common targets. What's critical? What's most important? What do we need to streamline to best get the learning for our kids? Those common assessments. Again, dialogues. This is where they talk about students, not only talk about them, but what are we going to do differently, and then do it. And then just that parent time to come in, you get them in. Building days this is our cross-graded time. So we have cohorts throughout the whole building. On building days, that's when we get that alignment and conversation going, and in our math, in our LA science, that's where the science fair came up during our building time. Special education team, our para-educators, they meet every Friday morning, and they've brought some amazing things to the table too. And our exploratory team, they find ways to integrate and make connections with all the school specialists. This is the extraordinary part too, is our parents. Twin Falls Middle School, we have been very blessed by a positive parent group, supportive parent group. How many do you have, Sean? Fridays for the lit service?
About 40.
40 parents the last 3 years? Mm-hmm. 3 years. This is for the whole winter quarter. They come every Friday, and there's a book study that they participate in. And it's amazing. The kids end up, again, that's relationships, it's connections, and we get readers out of this. They start reading. I know different science projects. Carol has been our pianist. Where are you, Carol? Everybody should give her a standing ovation. 4 years she comes. I said, are you on the payroll? Because she's there at school all the time. What an amazing woman, and she just encourages the kids. She plays for everything, and so I wanted to thank her for that. And you can see these smiling faces, our PTSA. They find they're the most encouraging. What can I do to help? You know, I always get a little stumped when somebody comes up to me, what can I do to help you? And, you know, just eager to support. And I know we've had different opinions here on middle schools, and there might be half of them are thinking about one thing and half are the other. But after the decision was made, and I'm going to say this as an advocate to them because I happen to listen to the two sides, how they came together after the decision and said, okay, we're going to roll up our sleeves and we're going to figure out how to make this work. And I've just been very impressed with their partnership. They constantly encourage our teacher teams. There's not a job that they won't do. And some of it's way behind the scenes, and some of it's just supporting kids at dances and all over. And there's some of them here today, and they're really, truly amazing. They deserve a hand. This is pretty close to ending. On leave. This is called the doing part. You know, we can say a lot of things, but she's here every Tuesday and Thursday. She brings treats. She sits right next to some children that, you know, their attention spans are pretty exhausted by the end of the day, but they can't get their work done at home. So they're here. And she's right next to them. And it makes a difference. It makes a big difference. And so, thank you. At the end of the day, the end of the storm, we have everyone. rainbows change and it's hope. And we'll work with kids. And our kids in middle school, we've got kids reading to start a Key Club. We now have 25 members that they're at 10th City, they're at the food bank, they were going to the nursing home today. 25 of them. And 30 natural helpers, 40 natural helpers.
No, 60 now.
60 now. 60 natural helpers who make the school safe. And I know sometimes you hear our school isn't safe. I had one boy just the other day, I need to see who. Oh dear. And he wanted to tell me about an incident that he thought I should know about. And these are the natural helpers. And then we have amazing innocent leadership. So, at the end of the day, and at the end of the time when our kids leave middle school, this is what we're working for, that confidence, competence, and then smiles. And they're smiling because they get math. They love to read, and it makes sense. In science, well, they can do anything in science. And they're musicians. They know how to be a friend. And they come back and they've made relationships with adults. We have to teach them about how to greet and how to do all that, but they make friends and know the adults. So at the end of our time, we know they're going to be ready for high school. Thank you.